Hello and welcome back to the OGA North American Close Qualifier. I'm joined once again by the lovely Captain Fluke.
And it's a pleasure to be here as we come to our final quarterfinal to find out who will be the last team joining the final fight to then who finds out who gets to fly out to Croatia at the beginning of December.
Yes, and definitely some interesting games have been already played out. But now we get to our very final game of the night, and I think we've saved the best till last, Fluke. It's going to be OGA Alliance who take on Evil Geniuses. OGA Alliance very, very new to Pro League, and as you said before the break, Evil Geniuses is kind of the old guard. Yeah,
so let's see how this goes down in the map ban, but I think this is going to be a curious match for a lot of people because obviously this is technically the first time OGA will be taking on a Pro League team as a Pro League team, so this could be a moment to kind of leave a bit of a mark, really, before the upcoming season comes into gear.
Something that we should mention, Fozo is away on a wedding. His sister is getting married.
I thought you were about to say his sister's playing instead. We're like, that'd be such a good family bond, but why wasn't she invented?
Execration, their coach, instead will be stepping in as substitute. It's going to be Evil Geniuses who banned the first out of it. It's going to be Cafe Dostoevsky as their first ban. I think that's definitely a fair ban given OGA's prevalence there.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair one to take out. Obviously, the previous game OGA played, it's really hard to kind of pull statistics. For anyone who saw OGA play BDE, well, they kind of destroyed them. And they did it in a very silly fashion. And Cafe was one of the maps they went to, and even just randomly throwing stuff at the wall, they came up with 7-3. So it's a good map for them and a fair map to take away. E.g., a team that often ban Border or Cafe, or a team that has, I think it's fair to say, kind of lost their way with their attacks recently.
Oh, OGA are going to ban out Villa from the pool, so that's going to leave us with EG with their first map pick. Don't forget, it's a best of 3 series, so we do ban, pick, ban, and then we have our decider left. So it definitely tests your map pool in a best of 3, and we haven't really seen who has the better map pool between these two teams, honestly, yet, because I feel like they both have pretty strong map pools. We saw a bit of a diversity in maps from OGA during Challenger League, but we'll see Border is EG's pickup, which I think is a really good map for EG, actually.
Yeah, and OGA usually have it as their first go-to ban if they're not otherwise banning Villa, so it's one of those maps that they really don't play, or well, if they do play it, they try not to play it as much, so this could be quite a good one in EG's favour. Obviously, this leaves a lot open to the side of OGA, and you know, where do you kind of take them? What map do you want to take them to? EG lost a clubhouse the last time they were here against Shrug, and Shrug put up a lot more of a fight than I think anyone really expected, and even the players of Shrug expected.
Yeah, no, we definitely did not expect some things going through there, and Shrug were very, very close to knocking EG out of this bracket. Honestly, it was very kind of close, especially toward the end of Coastline as well. But we'll have a look at what OGA want to pick for their map and where they want to be going here instead. It's going to be Coastline. I don't think any kind of surprises there.
No, I mean, they're a good Coastline team. Evil Geniuses, it came down to an 8-7. As I said, in the match versus Shrug, the match where Jaeger was off the table and they bought 10 grenades. 10 grenades, and it came down to the wire. So it was a bit of a chaotic thing, and I guess let's see how...
This makes things very, very complicated for EG now, because Bank is a very good map for OGA, but EG were not doing good on Clubhouse recently, so it's like, what do you ban out here? Like, what do you give OGA? Do you give them their good map, or do you give them your bad map? So we'll have a look at what EG want to ban out here, and it is going to be Bank removed by OGA, actually, which is interesting.
I potentially want to hold on to it maybe for the next matchup, potentially want to kind of take it back to the drawing board and stuff. Obviously, we've said they've last time they were here, it was before they played the relegation match. They played it last night. They did very well, and they're now a Pro League team. And now, I guess this is something that they can put a lot more of themselves into, because this is going to be their first real test. No offense, BDE, but if you go from a BDE game to an EG game, this is the test. This is when your medal kind of gets pushed, and it's going to be Clubhouse. So even though, the thing is, if you look at the console results last time for EG, they went 7-2, but so did OGA. OGA doing stuff like bringing 5 deployable shields.
It was a good strat, the Phalanx strat.
The Phalanx strat worked across like 3 different points. I think they did it on. So, you know, it's one of those things that maybe they don't want to get phalanxed, which is a fair fear, I
Yep.
think. But that gives us our 3 maps, and hey, why waste any more time? Let's see who's going to pull themselves apart in the first map of the night. And, you know, it's down to the bands. I'm really curious to see Obey push EG. I think that's, for me, that's what I really kind of want to see.
This is going to be a big showing for Obey. Not just the fact that I think a lot of people are kind of looking at them and saying, okay, what can Obey actually do here now that they are a Pro League team? How good really are they? As they're going to be banning Thermite off the board already. Don't forget as well, I think this is kind of a big issue with NA teams, is that a lot of them don't stick together for a long time. Even look at 92 Dream Team, now Luminosity, we're kind of like a pug roster formed for the qualifiers. So,
Yep.
you know, you going forward as well, Obey have been a roster together for a very long time, probably one of the longest serving NA rosters that wasn't already tier 2 or tier 1. And yeah, they grinded for it, so now we're going to see if that grind did indeed pay off, as they take them off the board, and Evil Geniuses will take Capitao off the board, and we'll leave them with Evil Geniuses ban of Mira. I'm going to guess Obey is going to take Echo off the board here.
Yeah, I mean, Mirror and Echo is the standard kind of follow-ups here against this point. Obviously, with Echo, you can see some very nightmarish places that you can kind of put those in corners, especially on the armory and in the kind of big office's roof, and it just allows you some portability with the information in there, taken out of the roster and out of the wheelhouse. So, Border, a map that, as we said, both teams, EG and Obey, banned last time. And both do have it as a ban map that they like to bring out. And I guess this is potentially, you know, EG wanting to stress Obey and take them to what is potentially an off map and say, well, we're still a team that is comfortable in these places.
Don't forget, in case you missed it earlier, Obey is not playing at full strength right now, you could argue. Execration, their coach, will be stepping in for Fozo since his sister is getting married. So we'll see EG, though, is at full strength. Not with a coach of their own, or else not publicly known at this point anyway. But we'll have a look at how that's going to go down as we see an Armory Lockers and Archives defense first. We'll see Grixer is going to be moving on to the Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie is always a big pickup here, and obviously they're baiting it from the alibi. They're going to try and start this round with a little bit of, I guess, surprise there and how they want to bring that. And when you're up against an IQ of MVK, then, you know, I guess you want to keep it as surprise as possible. Because if MVK is aware that there's a Valkyrie, they're going to go hunting for it. At least this way around, you can try and be a little bit surprising about it.
I actually really like already Obey's lineup for this. That they've brought both the Maestro and the Doc. I'm going to guess the Doc has a bulletproof cam he's going to put onto 90. I'm going to see Maestro cams in Armory and potentially one in Archives as well. We'll have a look how this is going to go down. Of course, Execration is going to be picking up that. I don't think many people would be very familiar with Execration because he hasn't done a lot of PC stuff, but I believe he played Major League on Xbox, and he also was part of the Strength roster that kind of a lot of those Xbox guys went over initially with.
You always hear about the Xbox pros that kind of come through and find their way into PC Pro League and have kind of done big waves in it as well. Like you've seen some very big names come through from there.
Yeah, especially like, you know, guys like Drip as well has definitely come through that area. But we'll already see some very aggressive runouts and a very aggressive movement coming out from Obey very early on, but we will not be rewarded with a kill just yet. I think, you know, Obey are a roster of just peek everything, run out everywhere, and just peek everything. EG, historically, have been very bad at dealing with that heavy aggression.
It's the thing about Obey, is they're often cited as a team, when you play against them, they're a frustrating team to play against because they can lead into that aggression, because they peak everything, and because they consistently shut down in that style. If you find yourself suffering it and find yourself getting frustrated, it can really just shut down your entire day in the play that you want to kind of bring to the firefight. In the meantime, this is a slow and steady drone and approach from EG. As we said, where they've generally suffered recently compared to their history is their attacks. Sometimes things have looked a little bit skittish, and well, Abunai isn't going to waste any time and take care of NVK.
Great opening pick coming out from Abunai there, as the drone's still coming out there from Geo. Not able to make it all the way through yet because of the Mozzie drone up there. Looks like one drone is going to be sacrificed so that the other one can sprint through, but they're going to use the Habana holes actually to get their drones all the way through. Forest still holding on the close angle as well. He's going to try and peek very aggressively up onto this armory wall and see what he can do. Well, Grix is going to fall off and get ready for the nitro placement if it is indeed needed. Abadai is also holding down metal, making sure that Grixer is cleared to move through for that rotating event if he did go for it. Thatchers are going to go down as well, of course, as EG begin to go for their push, but they're wasting a lot of time here and they've only got 1 minute left to go.
Yeah, having a minute and having only a small portions of that opened up means that you're really going to have to funnel and crawl your way in. And at this point, well, good grenade to take care of execration, but they have a dock, they have the ability to pick him up. Going to wait and bait, and it gets dropped from the gun below. Modigga is able to shut it down. The C4 goes off, doesn't quite catch anyone, but Sappphire survives for now, and Necrox goes down in Forest. They're trying to get the diffuser down, but Forest finds a double and gets the diffuser planter. There's a quick pickup from Modigga to push aggressively against Grixer, and Forest finds his third for the round with the pistol, and now it is all down to the man from downstairs in a 1 versus 3 situation, burning through the lifelines and going to burn straight through the bodies as well, but unfortunately no, as Obey open up the first round.
Absolutely textbook from Obey, and we normally do see whoever gets that first pick normally does win the round. Great early pick from Abadai, definitely did secure them a lot of attention there, but good peaks coming out from Forest to shut down that diffuser going down will secure Obey the very first round here on the border. EG not looking too good all of a sudden.
Yeah, enemies have said it, and it's something that hopefully we're going to see less of, but their attacks are sometimes, it's a little bit disjointed, I think. One of the big problems that we saw the last time they were on this tournament, and I'll just speak solely on them in OGA Pit, was everything was a little bit haphazard. They didn't quite have the same like textbook control and execution that we've seen them have before. Their drone work and their early phase is great. They're so good at finding their way across the map, finding out where stuff is, but then when it comes to the shove, it just kind of feels a little bit disjointed, a little bit wild, and it's hard to hit those consistently.
To be honest, I think that one of the big issues with Obey, generally, playstyle-wise, is they are very, very aggressive. They will peek absolutely everything. I've already mentioned it once, but, I mean, and I guess, like, EG isn't traditionally good at doing that, but I'm not saying by no means. EG 100% are the favorites going into this matchup, and Obey would have to pull a massive upset to put themselves on the board here. Don't forget as well that the big factor here is that this is EG's map pick, and therefore Obey get to choose the EG get to choose OT sides, but Obey get to choose regular sides.
Yeah. Just have a quick look. I'm gonna see.
Strafe.
So on Strafe, 92% of people think Obey are gonna lose this, and EG are gonna take this.
Yeah, I'm really not surprised by that figure whatsoever. And of course, if you want to know where he got that figure from, you can download the Strafe app for yourself, and you can vote on everything that is going on in the OGA pit, as well as see what's going on and when games are going to be. But meanwhile, we'll see round number 2 getting underway. We'll see Obey Alliance holding up into vents.
Well, Modigga, who was a bit of a shining light in the previous round, setting up some jump-out coverage, and as he said, against a team like Obey, it's good kind of insurance. Really, they're a team that can very aggressively swing themselves against maps, and if you can take advantage of that playstyle, as we see demonstrated here, it can really start to pull them apart and take bodies after bodies without you really having to put yourself in danger, because they have a habit of doing it themselves to themselves.
They definitely do. We're just about a minute into the round, and we see plenty of control going into EG's favor here as Obey. And they're happy to give it up, it seems. They don't seem to be too heavily aggressive here so far. And they still have Grixer below, of course, with that pulse. But that cardiac scanner is able to pulse everything out and give plenty of info to his team. We've got 2 nitros below as well from Obey, so plenty of stuff off the board here from Execration and Grixer. I believe Abadai also has his own nitro, but I believe he's also playing upstairs there, so it might be much harder for him to deploy that. We'll see how things do go down. It's about halfway into the round now. EG slowly getting that control upstairs, but Abadai still up there.
Yeah, and they've dug in now, and they have the ability to just kind of collapse upon EG, steadily making their way across the top floor. They've droned out CC, and you can yet again see Modigga holding an open on the side, and well, out of nowhere, IQ is there to take care of Abadai, and NVK was a very big part of how EG managed to pull themselves in through previous games in the series.
That scared the hell out of me. Oh my God. Suddenly, NVK just appears at top level. Yeah, he is going to be the first kill going to the favor of MBK this time, rather than Abadai. See things going really well for EG so far as they start to shut down this upstairs presence coming out from Obey. We do see, I believe, Callout still up here as well to be able to do a little bit of work here. We do see potentially a Nitro coming out from Grixter from below, but he's giving out plenty of info on what is indeed going out. We do see Callout as well as Forest still upstairs, ready to do that push from offices. Running out of time here for EG though to try and make a move.
Yeah, looking for something, and again, this is where it kind of hits a bit of a stumble because Forest finds the balance backs and drops MVK. Young's trying to get the diffuser down. He's very good at doing it, but when they're getting every single body from above and they still have vertical, you've got to do more than just wait. Necrox has crept his way into point and finds one, but there's two more bodies, and one's down below and one's up there, and, well, it's another round in the favor of Obey.
What a great shutdown from Obey as well, just hanging onto the office area, ready for the retake, knowing they can play the time, and time, again, being a big factor here for EG. They're wasting so much of it. They've not had a good roam clear so far from themselves, and it has really, really punished them. Let's move into round number 3. This is going to be the offsite for Obey. Things looking really good for them so far. They've won these rounds pretty decisively, honestly.
Yeah, it's the thing about one of the things we said about EG is just finding that kind of collapse, finding a bit of the fire and ferocity that a lot of these kind of younger teams have. Because when you kind of rest on your laurels a bit and when you start to lose your way, that's when younger kind of gun players, and they'll just kind of push past you and breeze past you because they bring that fire and ferocity that sometimes can be the make or break. Yes, you can have systematic teams and you can have slower paced teams that are able to control a map and control a play space without ever really being challenged, but EG have to try and find a new way to make it work against all the fresh faces that have come up to NA Pro League.
True, but we do have a fresh face as well on EG's side. Instead of Canadian, we have been bringing Mo Digger in here as well, and he's been firing out of his mind. He's done already pretty well in this matchup exclusively. One man doesn't make a team, but he's done his part so far. And yeah, you're definitely right. I think though that with the inclusion of Mo, this is the new EG in a way.
Yeah.
And that we do see a little bit of difference. It's definitely taking their time to get back in here and do what they can. But I guess we'll have a look at how that's going to be moving through. It's kind of confused as why Callout put his drone directly on the barricade there.
Who knows? Who knows what's going through the mind of Callout? You know?
Apparently he's a very, very smart guy. I haven't had many interactions with him, but from everyone I've heard, he said he's a very smart guy. So I'll trust him that he knows what he's doing, and there is a strategy there.
There's a logical explanation for all of this. Well, Modigger is going to try and close his way across again as there's a fear as, well, Mozzie finds a drone. And Young, again, we briefly mentioned, will be the diffuser carrier and has a great ability at getting it in and trying to get it down. It's very consistent in how he can find his way to the point. It's just the cover that isn't quite in the control of EG. Everything, that's when we say it's a bit loose and a bit wild, is yes, you can get your diffuser planter in, but the 7 seconds of you looking at the floor is the most terrifying 7 seconds in the entire game. And if you don't have the cover, if you don't have the shoulders, you don't have the bodies and the guns paying attention to what you're doing and paying attention, more importantly, to what the other team are doing, well, we see what we've seen the past 2 rounds. It doesn't matter how many seconds you hold it, Obey still had the cover.
Young definitely has the work to do, but as we say that, he'll start to do that work on the triple wall. Nitro will go out from Forest, but unfortunately for him, it will miss. Callout looking for that rotation into CC. There is no control over CC coming out from EG. I'm hoping there is a flank watch drone up in there. But talking about drones, Callout's got one of his own to be able to check CC, making sure there is actually no one in that area. Grixter with a very passionate kill haul here. As a runner comes out from Abadai from detention, but able to find a frag on the board just yet.
He did just see someone, but they were running towards him, so he's going to pre-fire the door and then go for another peek out. He could catch them, and there it is, Young!
So smart.
Young taken out, drew the attention, and then drew Young, and then killed him. So that was a very, very smart play there, as you said. Now it's down to Grixter to try and hold down Trip with diffuser down, and you better hope that everything you needed to Hibana has been done. And otherwise, this is starting to fall another round into the favor of Obey. A minute on the clock for EG. They have loads of time to come up with a new strategy, come up with a new plan, but Buna is doing his best to shut it down. Doesn't see the man repelling, but they almost see Forest.
Forrest getting very lit out of that, but he's still alive and kicking. Grix is still above, and EG are falling apart right now. But MVK is able to strike back, and then we go one in his favor. Forrest goes down, and now Geo and Modigger both pick up kills of their own. And Obey have actually just lost a huge amount of control, but there's only 30 seconds left to go on the clock, and we still have plenty of utility up from Obey to defend the plant. Geo finds his way into sight, will attempt to go for this plant into Tellers. Hopefully a denial should start to come through from Call out here.
Attackers are activating
Well, the diffuser is down, and MVK puts another body, and EG find their first diffuser and find their first round.
Beautiful play at the end here by NVK, just to cut off a complete rotates through there. He's definitely been a top fragger from EG, so things pretty set for the par here so far. We've seen the offsite go to EG, we've seen the core sites go to Obey, but now that EG have seen the setups from Obey, now they know what's going to happen and how they're going to play this, EG should have a good idea about how they want to do this now and how they should tear this apart. We'll have a look how Armory does go down. This was a very, very close round actually last time.
I'm curious what the Clash is going to do here, whether that's a 6th pick. Obviously, they took a while to actually put her on the board at this point, and maybe they're going to aggressively hold armories because it was a full stack armory push. That's what they're baiting out there, and I'm curious what they go to. The IQ to the Jackal is going to be a swap off. I think they've kind of gone... So if this is... Yeah, a Valkyrie is a big bait swing there. So bringing the Valkyrie instead is going to mean that she's much more powerful against the IQ that's been baited out, and it allows them to be that classic Obey aggression now with even more information.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many
This is some good siege coming out from Obey so far, and EG definitely keeping pace, but you can't win the map just by keeping pace. Although you could argue, like, okay, EG do have the OT side, and they do have that favor there, but I get the suspicion that no one actually wants to go to OT, so EG gonna have to pick up a couple of rounds here in attack if they do want to bring things into their favor. Let's have a look at how Obey tend to hold this down, bringing pretty much the same line that they were the first time. But EG no longer having that IQ in there, that's definitely going to make the Valkyrie camps a lot more effective.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and you can already see Forrest is prepping himself for the runouts that you expect to come here. He goes out and he looks for some drones to feed the information. Nothing, so he knows he's free to potentially go a little bit aggressive against that side in the future. In the meantime, the bodies are creeping steadily closer towards CC. As we said, the droning in the beginning of rounds is good for EG. It's the execute where things sometimes suffer a little bit too much, and well, so far the last round looked good, but it looked good after, you know, it was kind of grabbed by the laurels of, well, MVK grabbed the laurels of every member of Obey and pulled them through. Guess we'll see if he can find a way to keep that role and keep that aggression. He's always going to be one to watch in the force of EG.
Plenty of information up and available for Obey here. Zabanide's going to make some kill holes for himself in the floor in the form of a circle.
It's beautiful. At first I thought it was a smiley face.
Yeah, I thought so too.
No
Not
time
quite
for
that advanced.
smiles.
Yeah. Well, drones are going to be coming out across the board from EG. No Mozzie this time being brought by Obey, so the droning should be pretty good from EG across the board. Should be able to get that quick info, but Obey also have a lot of info of their own.
Yeah, the 2 ADS is there to try and bait out as much, and I don't know if they've got another in pocket to use and utilize, but there's all the burns and there's everything coming through. The frag grenade bounces around the corner, catches them, catches the charges, tries to double it down and ignores the second frag grenade. Brilliantly played there from Obey to keep that wall under their control, and they still obviously have the Thatchers on the board, but Forrest gets himself up and Modigger puts him straight back down as he gets dropped, and the first time the opening frag, oh no, the second time the opening frag goes the favor of EG.
Things looking very, very good for EG all of a sudden as it moves into a 5v4, but still unable to break through this armory wall. This is going to be a big, big challenge for EG if they want to take this round. Necrox does have an EMP, however, could use that, but of course still got call out straight up on that bandit trick. I think that the whole plan from EG needs now to send Mo below to do some work.
Yeah, they've got to get control of that vertical of the wall. They've got to be able to force the man away. But it looks like Mo is just going to take over AC instead. Finds a body of Abinai on the backside, and now it's just a matter of collapsing in against the remaining players of OGA. EG have done very well to get themselves into this position and very well to be able to apply the pressure. Execration is going to wide peek against two, but they have the firing line set up, and NVK finds another one, and it's suddenly just Grixa versus the world. Finds one in Geo, throws the C4 over the side, but it is not being allowed as Modiga finds his third for the round. And he was brilliant in bringing them into this game.
And that's the EG that we know and love, of course. Absolutely dismantling Obey's defense there. They were struggling for a while there, it looked like, to try and get open the armory wall, but I think they just realized that we need to go for an office take. Instead, this isn't working. A really late rotate made by EG, but ultimately successful. Not sending Mo below, sending him on AC instead. Him getting the opening frag definitely opened up that entire Archives push. So, EG definitely looking a little bit better now, and Obey, they need to step things up. They need to keep both of these rounds under their control if they want to stand a chance at bringing this in.
Wow, the IQ to the Jackal to the IQ, even in response to the Valkyrie, is going to be the pick there, and it's kind of a necessary change, really. If you see her on the board on this map, you've generally got to bring her to just counter that off. Obviously, it does open options, and we've already seen that MVK is a very capable fragger with that gun in hand, and you know, it's one of those things where if you've got a good IQ player, they can do so much. Back in the day when obviously she had the frag grenades as well, to just kind of lead and bleed every single defense that she came into. But here you look at her, okay, on the armory point, you can get her underneath and get her behind the wall and take care of the bandit charges if you have the cover from underneath.
No Maestro being brought anymore from Obey, but they have brought the Legion into the lineup, and now a Mozzie into the lineup as well. NVK is sticking at the IQ this time. I think this is I think the IQ is just always kind of a better lineup here if you know that Obey are going to play very heavy off those Valk cams. There's also just a lot for NVK to do here as well. There's a lot for him to remove off the board.
Oh yeah, you've got all the information that you can get from obviously the Mozzies, you've got the Valkyrie cameras just as two big focal points of information, but you know, if you get the bandit, as I said, from underneath, if you kind of look for just ADSs or any kind of the information to make them bleed from what was a great hold on the bandit wall, and forces your plan A to go to a plan B, which to be fair was a very successful plan B, but you kind of want to make things be a bit more aggressive. NVK, talking of, opens up against Execration, and it looks like they might be putting some pressure on the admin side.
Second opening frag going into the favor of NVK there. As Obey are kind of falling apart all of a sudden. They had a couple of really good rounds, but now EG is starting to step up to the board. But as I say that, Grixa puts himself on the board and NVK is eliminated. That's the IQ indeed off the board now. There's a lot less work for NVK to do now in the graveyard. Oh, but Abinai as well is going to find Mo. That is that classic entry fragger from EG going down so early. He's been doing so much work. That is a very big kill coming out from Obey as they keep control of these areas and offices as well. The EG roam clear, not looking good for them.
Yeah, top two fraggers off the board this early is a bit of an issue, but Geo is ready to step up and bring some bloodshed back in their favor as Abinai drops to the floor. Young again, steadily trying to make their way in via the officer's side, as they still obviously have the hard destruction, they have the Thatcher, they have the sledge, they have everything they need to coordinate a push against either officers or in the main thing, but it looks like they're not going to play the game with the bandit and instead going to try and take it aggressively and flat. You can see them setting themselves up for this cover. Forest is opening the holes to be able to toss stuff over the top. In the meantime, Young is just going to watch the rotation, flash it out, and potentially put more pressures against the fountain side.
Yeah, and that fountain side push is indeed going to be coming out from EG. Geo tries to make his way into offers successfully, as he's got two nades still remaining. Obey, however, holding this from a very high off angle. Forest still, however, in Archives. Looks like he's going to get pushed sooner rather than later. No nitro available for him. He's out of ammo and he's super shorty at the moment, not reloaded properly. He does have a Mozzie drone up in office still, and that should give him some info that nades are going to be coming through. Geo still holding it down, however, hopping through onto the balcony, going for those long nades, however. It's Forest constantly putting the punishment in here. Geo finds Grixa, but Grixa finds Young in return. And now a 2v1 as Necrox is actually injured, and it's all down to Geo to try and bring this in. Nades are going to go down, Forest narrowly avoiding them, as another nitro is going to go out. However, it's all down to Geo as he's now picked up Necrox. So now he can cut off the flank as Geo pushes into Armory, but it's going to be a very, very quick push as Geo moves all the way into box. Necrox cuts the site in half. This is a great adaptation coming out from EG right now. As Callout doesn't realize there's a plant going down right next to him. Forest peeks out. He gets one, but there's Geo. He's going to start the plant, and they got to know where he is right now as they take him down, and Obey take the round.
Well, it was a good attempt there from EG to try and pull it back after things started to go a little bit south. They almost did. You could see a great swap round there to try and plant it in. Obviously, it came down to some in-point information doing the pings, and they didn't feel brave enough to make it stick. Tie into the fact that we saw the push just being a little bit covered from the center and knowing that there was a body between them and they couldn't quite get the aggressive shelter that they needed. However, we're on the final round of this half, and a 3-2 isn't the worst swing in favor of EG. They can make a lot of this back if they hit this on the 3-3. Even if they go in 4-2 heading into their defense, they could be in a very good position.
Young's not looking too good in terms of KD-wise, but of course he is playing that hard support as he does. So we'll let him off for it now. We're going to go into the final defense here for Obey Alliance. They need this round if they want to keep themselves in the batting order. But their attack's going to have to be very impressive if they want to bring in this map. Don't forget this is EG's map pick, which means they get to pick what side they start in OT, but Obey got to pick what start they side in just generally. So that's why you see Obey on the defense to start with. After this round, EG are going to swap it around. They're going to see what their defenses are about, but things looking pretty nominal here on Border so far.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about Obey is they've kind of got to look at this next round as one that they kind of need to take. Obviously, they're back on vent point. This was a good one for them previously, but again, the second time they went to Armory, it was really well shut down by EG. So they've got to find the response, I guess, to how Obey held this. If they go in on level pegging, pushing against EG defenses on Border, it could look like this map could swing in EG's favor because they are a very good defense side and it's generally where their game's been strongest recently. So if their attacks are kind of looking, as I said at the beginning, they didn't quite have that fire, they didn't quite have that pace, and unfortunately they lose Mo very, very early on. Abinai gets the opener for the third time this game, and it's just the kind of way it's battled down is as soon as they found a little bit of the aggression, especially MVK, especially Mo, and now Geo as well as stepping up mid-round, it's something that I kind of want to see more of.
Yeah, I definitely want to see more of as well. Obey definitely being very, very aggressive in their takes, and Abadai, as you said, the third time he's found an opening frag. Absolutely incredible stuff coming out from him, as MVK is going to realize that there is a pulse up on the board, and they're going to find each other, of course. Wow, nice Valkyrie camera coming out here from Abadai. He's going to be able to see there is someone just below the truck here, be able to hold down that front door. I'm going to be amazed if someone tries to peek that.
Amazed, or are you going to be surprised, though?
Both. A lot. I'm going to be a lot of things if someone tries to peek that.
Well, it depends. I'll be more if they actually get it successfully. But Pulse has pulled back just a little. Will feed the information, obviously, to what's going on, but knows that the mounting and surmounting pressure across the top floor is going to be something that bites them more and more and more. Here's the hard destruction go off on the armory wall, and they're just going to pull back and not really take the firefighters. Pulse gets some information, but isn't going to bury themselves in. It looks like Call Out has just put down fresh ADS and is trying to bait those late round grenades. It's one of the things that we've seen them do a couple of times, which is where they'll put down one, they'll watch it get burned and cooked and maybe suffer a flash, but then they'll put down another to bait just the frags. And I think that's a really, really nice, like if you trust your timing on that, that's so good.
It can be good. It can be good indeed. Forrest could be holding down a prone angle through onto Armory Door to see what he can do. It's EG running out of time right now, just getting into this final minute. Geo's going to be opening up into the supply room, and they're going to try and get over control of customs as they do, but no upstairs presence coming out from EG just yet. He's going to allow Call Out to play up here very nicely, but NVK getting his entry as Grixer is going to fall. It's now a 4v4 situation as Obey trying to strike back. C4 is going to go out, but a nade went deep as well as Forrest makes his way through, but instantly just gets shut down. Geo and Young both find their kills, and it's all down to Execration and Abadai to try and shut it down. Execration doesn't realize someone's just went deep and tried to go for the plant. He's going to take him down. However, NVK takes down his teammate, and it's all down to Execration to try and bring it in. He sees NVK, but no, he gets eliminated. And EG take round number 6, and things, that is a really good start for EG. A 3-3 scoreline on Border is exactly what you need.
Yeah, it's really, really playing into their favor. Obviously, this was their map pick, but at the beginning, the first 2 rounds, it looked, well, shaky at best, and they've really kind of illuminated themselves. And again, I can't harp on about it enough. It's the aggression. Obviously, NVK bringing in 9-3 is exceptional for entry. Mo with the cover and 7-4. That, you know, but at the same time, you've got to look at how Geo starts to move towards the mid-round, towards that kind of minute mark, which was where they used to stumble. That was the point where EG recently have fallen apart, is that minute mark downwards towards then getting the attack in and getting the attack successful, and the movements that Geo is making to kind of allow Young to move in around and move in behind and stuff like that, and that kind of that space in the wake that he's creating is really allowing them to get their way into the points.
So, a book going to be brought through here, and we'll see exactly how it's going to be going down. As we move into round number 7, and it looks like from Obey, we're going to see a lot more vertical pressure than we ever saw from EG. As we move to an Armory Lockers defense coming out from EG, of course, to knock things out. Obey are really going to have to step it up on their attacks if they want to bring this in. We haven't seen their attack so far on the border, but we'll have a look how this is indeed going to go down. Regardless, we'll be going to Cosine after this, which is a very good map for Obey. Not too good of a map for EG.
Yeah, it's one of those ones where obviously it really plays into their play style. It allows the kind of fluid movement with it. You know, it's harder to punish on that map as well in the way that we're seeing EG do quite well. Obviously, you know, Abonai's been able to, as you said, get very aggressive with those opening frags, and, you know, the border, sure, it has those possibilities, it has those options, but Coastline, it just generally has more of those options. Starting their approach now and getting themselves in as quickly as possible, bringing the Nomad for fear of, well, rotations, and it's a good level of control. Also going to hit it, make sure they get the AC window too, and catch anyone that tries to hop out on that side, but it just allows you to shut down, you know, any of those either staircases if you bring them, just limit what can go down. Modiga pre-firing a window inches from a man's head.
Very aggressive way to hold down CC, and this is the first CC hold we've seen so far, but it's going to be successful so far as Young finds 1, Young finds 2. Oh my god, the LMG spray comes down, but no, it wasn't actually Young. It was a TK coming up from Execration. He does eventually find the refrag. There goes Young, but you've lost a lot of utility already in your Buck and your Jackal.
Yeah, those are big losses and big plays from Young to hold that wall as aggressively as they did. And this is a very, very aggressive hold from EG. Obviously, we saw the window being shot open from the CC side, and they're kind of saying, well, we're here, and you've got to come inside and kill us. And they get the man as he enters the door. They cut the attack in half, and Abunai managed to find Modiga in the meantime. But now Necrox has taken up the mantle, and Geo on the far side. EG, with all the aggression in the world, take down Obey.
Great start from EG here on this armored defense, but ooh, that TK from Execration, that's got to burn. I'm sure the team comms are filled with things regarding his coaching position here as we'll move into round number 8.
It's always the hard thing when you come into this, and you're not only are you a coach, but also you're missing a player, you know you're doing a big game, and it's that kind of balance of coaches have set surprisingly good histories in this game.
Yep.
Some of them haven't. Some of them have had bad games, but you look at the history, you know, with standing coaches, and it's a very golden history.
That's true. That is generally true. We're going to see Events Room and Workshop defense coming through here for EG. Pretty standard so far. We'll see how Obey wants to take this. They need to win one of these core sites if they want to keep themselves in the running here. But regardless, honestly, if we go to OT, I feel like EG's just going to win it out anyway.
Attackers need to locate and
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, as we said, EG swapping to defense. They have the ability to put 2 in a row now and put themselves 2 rounds ahead. This is the first time they've been ahead all game. It's otherwise been on the back foot or level. So, this is the turn of the half. This is the switch, and they're in a good place and a good position to kind of string at least 4 of these points together, which is what Obey just couldn't manage to do on their defense.
Very, very true. We saw a very strong start to Obey's defenses, but since then, we've not really seen Obey step up to the mark. Let's hope they can continue to do so and put up a fight. Don't forget, of course, this is EG's
5 seconds to go.
map pick.
Well, it's it's nice that they're not fully reporting it, but they're restricted. Skins, NVK.
My bad.
Activating camera.
They yellow carded him.
Yeah.
They put him in the sin bin. Right, going for some aggression. There, Vigil is looking for somebody, but unfortunately doesn't find anything and just opens it instead as well. Arbeya ready and raring to try and find the aggression themselves. They start to drone forward and start to see if they can find any bodies up in the CC side. In the meantime, there's a little bit of a stretch downstairs. Again, they've left so much soft, and he just charges through his own impact grenade, and he gets taken out in the meantime. I feel like there was a bit of a scream there from Grixer as a man exploded his way towards him.
That was insanely brave from MVK, and almost a great frag coming out from him. But that will be opening frag going into the favor of Obey. So great start already coming out from that Vigil already off the board, and definitely one of the top fraggers off the board for EG. NVK's just been doing the work this series.
Yeah, he's been he's been everywhere. He's been really, really hard to shut down, really, really hard to get control of. And, you know, you've got to give so much credit to a player that can bring aggression against a team like Obey, that kind of thrives in aggression and thrives in that play style where they can always kind of be somewhere and always kind of be trying to pull you apart and pull pieces of your attack or your defense together and away from each other, really.
Oh, see, the vertical play is going to be coming into effect this time from Obey. Last time, it wasn't able to do so since the book got taken off the board very, very early on. See, Obey starting to do that work, and they've got a lot of time left to go on the clock here as well to start to do. Mo does have a Nitro available to himself, but he will start to get Jackal tracked, and that isn't ideal, obviously.
Well, he's trying to keep himself active and hot on the point there, Geo, and Mo is buried all the way back in bathroom again. A lot of soft walls and a lot of open doors. They have the ability to get aggressive with these movements and these rotations, and it's whether they can find the space and the breathing room to do it. But with a minute left, you can see Obey are starting to formulate their positions and aggression on the floor above. They have all of the control, and Abunai goes for it, but gets dropped in the trade. At least Execration finds one. In the meantime, Necrox drops Forest, and that's the buck off the board. So they're going to have to generally play with what they've got. Grixer finds Necrox. The trades continue. And with Mo falling back to point and Young just a little bit off on customs, it's seeing if EG can get their way down.
Oh, Young's doing a bit of a slip and slide here as he goes all the way through, aiming for some sort of peek. It's so weird. This is such a funny spectator bug, but everything is set up at Obey here for indeed that vent stake, and Young's got to know it as well. Doesn't have an Nitro Cell left remaining on the clock, however. Talking about that clock, it is starting to tick down. Execration goes for the plant. Young sees him, but isn't able to deny the plant just yet. Oh, with so many shots, but will eventually put Execration in the dirt, along with Call Out. And it's all down to Grixer to try and bring it in. He drops the hatch, goes to the pre-fires, but isn't able to find anyone in EG. Take round number 8.
5-3. The gap goes to a 2-round difference. We haven't seen that since the very beginning, and that one came down to, well, a little bit of plucky attitude from the side of EG as they find themselves creeping ever closer to taking this first map, which is their map, to be fair, with Coastline and Clubhouse looming in their future. It's going to be one of those things where, obviously, as we said, if we do get to a third map, which is Club, they've had a bit of a mixed history recently, EG, in there.
They have. Something I just want to quickly touch on, though. Execration deciding to plant where he did should have really known there was a bandit in that position to deny that plant. Can't help but feel that if Execration had planted into the window, that would have gone a lot more successful for Obey. Small mistakes like that will get punished by teams like EG, and we'll see them go to their offsite. It's going to be customs instead of bathroom tells, which is what Obey opted for.
Well, I guess we'll see if they can make the space work. As we said, they've generally lent in to a bit of the aggression of this map. They've been happy to find fights through the soft walls, and, well, this is a point that can lend itself to that. You can kind of have these flat battles across the grand scheme of things. You can push down aggressively from the central staircase towards what is a very common plant point, and it allows you the ability to kind of keep everything a little bit fresher than you would otherwise in what becomes a bit of a vertical showdown on the bathroom teller's point.
Definitely. So, we're going to move it to round number 9, and I think, honestly, if EG can bring this round in, they'll easily take the map. If they can't, but it's still close, I think they'll still have a good chance because they managed to take both core sites pretty convincingly. Obey needs at least one of those core sites if they want to bring it in for themselves. Things haven't been looking too good for them so far.
Well, NVK is looking for the long angle from 90, and Forrest is looking for a body immediately, putting intense pressure against the Armory side. And It's actually the two bodies inside CC that are being droned out pretty continually with the IQ trying to close down from the opposite side, and the IQ is in the hands of Abenai, who has so far been very, very good at making people bleed. Closing down instead and rotating towards the eastern staircase to get a bit of control over here and double up with the Jackal, who is droning ahead for them. Now it's just a matter of seeing if they can find a long firefight there, and there's the default camp.
Default camp of 90, as you said, is going to be removed. Grixer slowly makes his way into Archives to see what he can do. Geo gonna go for a run out. He gets the Claymore and he goes for the run out, but no, he gets shut down. That could have been beautiful from Geo as Forest picks up a double kill. A grenade and then a quick flick onto Geo to secure the 2K. There's also Nitro off the board as well.
Yeah, all in a day's work for Forest there to be able to do that. Beautiful pairing, and as you said, a Nitro off the board, which is, you know, it's quite a big piece of utility, especially on a point like this where you might be forced to hold it a little bit wider and a little bit further away because the instant jump in on A becomes a bit of a hot spot for a lot of people that like to go for quick plants. In the meantime, MVK is doing the aggression that he does all the time and just drops Call Out. He was too distracted by his phone, unfortunately pays the price we all do.
Imagine being that brave. What? MVK is getting Jackal tracked and he's still finding kills on the board, but does eventually get traded out by Grixer. It's going to be a 3v2 now. Things looking a bit spiffy here for EG. There's still plenty of time up on the board for Obey to make this work. Necro's going to give his position away, but he's going to go for the aggressive peek, but gets taken down before he can complete the rotate. It's all down to Young to try and bring this in. He finds one onto Forest, but this should be a very, very quick refrag all the way from Tells. We do see that Grixer's hopped in here. He's getting his position away. Default cam's still up. Young could go for the peek, wide out, but gets taken down. Obey take round number 9, and things still par for the course for them, but they need one of these core sites if they want to bring it in.
Yeah, that is the tough ask, and I guess it was the same thing that was asked of EG in the first half, was they obviously lost the first 2 rounds, won the third, which was the off-point of Bathroom, and then were able to take the double up on Armory to guarantee the 3-3 at least, or guarantee themselves in a good position. And you've got to look at how Obey can do that, because the first 2 rounds here from Armory and Vent were very, very good from EG, and they were very aggressive. And I'm curious to see how an aggressive team responds to that.
Well, you'll see in just a few moments as we move our way swiftly into round number 10. Abenai is going to be bringing the IQ instead of the Zofia, and we'll see an Armory Lockers Archives defense yet again from EG. Last time, Fluke, this was a bit of a disaster for Obey.
Yeah, I mean, the big guns of Maestro was able to get a body and make someone else kill a teammate. So it's one of those things that, as I said, when leaving that soft and leaving that as a big old firing line can really play into the favor of someone who, like Young, is very, very good with that gun. In the meantime, as we've already seen, MVK is having a bit of a stormer, and the kind of movement that Geo's allowing hasn't been as prevalent on defense, but it's something you've always got to be aware of. And it's kind of all coming together in a pretty good fashion for them.
So, looks like another heavy CC hold coming out here from EG. They're going to be expecting, of course, that Armory take, which is why you hold CC. You look onto that side of Armory and they'll have Armory wall soft, and then the CC area and the Armory area can kind of just play off of each other. And you can see, yeah, that's exactly what has indeed happened. We'll see the rotates as well coming through.
Well, MVK's dug in. I'm curious if they swap their kind of modus operandi and potentially put a bit of pressure on admin, but no, it seems like they're going for the same take that they did previously. Start to shut down on CC, find the bodies in there, be a bit aware of the jump outs, but probably not going to swing up as wide as they did last time to suffer the fate of the Maestro, who has that sightline open. Putting the pressure against that window this time around instead of suffering as Mo moves around underneath, is being covered by the watchful eye of Young, who's going to rotate round and offer some of this long-range beasting that he did in the previous, but at this moment in time it's just down to MVK and Mo to dig in as long as they can. And to be fair, with the healing powers of a Doctor that close, well, it's not the worst operator to have by your side.
But talking about operators, 2 will get taken off the board as Obey score their opening frags. Abenai and Forest both finding theirs, and EG all of a sudden not looking too good right now. There's still loads of time left up on the board for Obey to start to do something, and the fact that they have Forest still up as well allows that vertical play to start to come into effect.
Well, Necrox is creeping back over to try and double up on the Armory push, expecting it now to come in a little bit tighter. In fact, no, rotates back around to Geo, and it's just going to leave that to Young, who is pinging everything as time goes on. In the meantime, a very clever move here by Obey. They're doubling around underneath, potentially, towards the AC side as well, and they're going to pull Maestro away from the position he's generally held pretty conveniently. Abinai suffers as he goes for the rotate. They're still paying attention. You can't be that callous. That big gun in Young's hand is always going to be a problem for you.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of utility still up here for EG. However, Young going down to the Lucky Sandwich Repel. Great kill from Callout is going to put them significantly ahead. Geo's rotated downstairs to try and go for a Nitro play to deny the plant, as Necrox creeps his way around, but from the Lucky Sandwich gets taken down, and Obey close it out with a flawless round.
Wow, very, very well played there from Obey. They're able to get the 2 bodies inside CC, and then from that point onwards, as I said, dipped the rotate, went all the way to the AC side, went to sandwich window, and then pulled the Maestro out of the hold that was otherwise so decisive. They didn't throw themselves up onto the balcony this time. They took the fight from somewhere else and didn't feed themselves into the firing line of evil geniuses. 5-5. We now sit back on level pegging, and we're looking like we're well, anyone can take this. As has generally been how a lot of these games have gone tonight, but we're going to head back to Armory. That's going to be our return to Force. Curious to see what the change is, and it's actually the Mozzie for the Dock.
Don't forget, this is our first Pro League versus Pro League matchup in OGA NA, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's bound to be a close matchup indeed. We'll see round number 11 getting underway, and we're going to have another core site here for EG. It is going to be an Armory, Lockers, and Archives, but last time Obey completely just slammed them here. And yeah, EG going to have to change it a little bit up here if they want to bring it in for themselves. But for the most part, it's looking like the same setup, although they have brought on Mozzie this time.
Yeah, as I said, that was the one change that they've kind of brought, and I'm guessing it's going to allow them a little bit more mobility and information in terms of how they hold this, because that was what shut it down so brilliantly from Obey. They were hanging, they were rappelling on the sides, and they were able to kind of drone out where everybody was in, and the close down on NVK and Mo was, you know, it was 2 seconds. It was a snap, they've cleared CC, and that only comes from great information. And that is what they're going to try and counter and control. Stop the drones coming in, allow yourself to just take that information away from them. Not only add it to your own corner, but it means that they can't pull that kind of move again.
So, we'll see Obey, most part, are bringing the same lineup that they have been bringing for these Armory attacks. As Abadai back on that IQ, it would seem. This strategy's kind of changed up a little bit from EG's side though, as they put Mo downstairs to stop that vertical play being brought to bear.
Well, swinging in and not wasting, well, any time, he says, as he kind of feels a little bit concerned about just knocking the wall open. He's going to say, well, should I do it? And they're going to say, well, hold on just a second. Let us find a body in on the opposite side. Sees the Mozzie swing past, unfortunately can't make anything of it. They were shot at the last time they rotated here by Young from the 90, so they have the eyes and the ears and all of it that they need, but in the meantime, there is the droning going in underneath via detention. They can see that somebody's there, see that somebody's holding it, and probably concerned about the C4, and they're actually going to use this as a moment to take control of this wall.
Cole's going to hop off below as he throws out his first EMP. As far as going to open up everything here, but it just gets a bit in the way. As Habana charges are going to go out on the wall. Did that affect all of the Habana charges there? That's kind of a disaster, really, if you think about it. There's a lot of utility already off the board, but Armory Wall is going to successfully get opened up, and EG are not going to deny that at all, but Obey is running out of time here.
Yeah, minute 20, they've started to locate where everyone is, and it took a moment, but with the hot pings coming out on Maestro, they're going to utilize the information, unfortunately. He finds the gun, and he finds 2. Young, proving what he can do with that gun time and time again. Geo suffers as Callout finds one back the other way, but that was a huge take on the backside to take care of what was going to be the very aggressive open frag, and you can see Obey have trying to find themselves a little bit of a standstill. Callout is going to clear underneath. Make sure there's no more immediate pickups, but with Geo down, it's the worry of NVK on the Mozzie, who is currently playing around the detention side on the far side. They're going to flash in, frag grenade, get baited, but the smoke canisters pops out and slows the rollers. There goes NVK, a very big kill for Callout as he can now collapse up the side, and he doesn't find the return frag. Great moment from Mo to pull himself in. He's on a flicker of health, but the body was worth it at this point. Forrest cannot find a comfortable way in, and Execration is, well, left and right and unsure how to enter, and they've got to be careful of the man just to the left, and they're not as he takes one. Mo dug in the corner, all down to the captain. He finds Mo. He's trying to find the second on the back foot, but it's 10 seconds on the board. You've got a smoke, you've got a Maestro, and it's in the hands of Young. Well, this looks like match point EG.
Absolutely zero utility going into the way of execution here. It's going to have to pull off a miracle here if he wants to bring this in. He's actually just going to go straight for the plant here. But no, there's going to be a maestro cam, and they're going to know exactly where he is. And Necrox should be able to clean this up. But execution is going to save his KD. And EG move to match point here on border.
Well, match point. They have vents as their option. I mean, they also have customs and tellers, but you assume vents.
They also have bathroom tellers, yeah?
I said that.
And customs.
Yeah, I said they have customs, they have tellers.
Right. Yeah, just making sure.
Okay. Is there a test? Will I be tested on this, sir?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. Vent is where they're going to opt for. Surprising no one. Surely that's going to get a 6th pick.
You never know. There has been a Jackal every single round from Obey. Just once. Well, Ab and I are going to be bringing the IQ along, as we have been a pulse 6th pick coming out from NVK. As yes, you are quite right, we are going to go to a Vents and Workshop defense coming out here from EG. Things are looking very, very good for them so far. Even if Obey take this round, EG get defense in OT. So you would assume EG should be able to bring this in.
It's the kind of way it's swinging as well. As obviously they've dropped the 2 rounds in the middle. They are potentially on a 3-3, the same that they were on their attacks, but it's down to Obey. It's down to them to try and find the round, try and find the response. They were good when they did it previously on Vent, on Armory even, when they obviously lost it the very first time around. That second push was pinch perfect for what EG kind of put forward. And it seemed like they stumbled a little bit that time round in getting the roam clear. So again, a great response from EG, but we're back on the second time for this. Guess we'll see if they can find a way to do it.
Very aggressive spawn peek coming out from NVK here onto that supply room window, and we'll see exactly how that is going to work out for him. But no one from Obey, oh no, sorry, there's one man from Obey has spawned over that side. Don't forget, the last time that we saw this, NVK was playing Vigil, and he went for that really aggressive run out to East stairs. That's not going to happen this time, however, but we do still see a Vigil on the board coming out from Papi Gio.
Grix are droning steadily ahead. Obey trying to get as much information as they can from an EG that has been, well, pretty explosive in points on their defense, and the roam has often been what has bit both time and, well, how things go together. Unfortunately, it's not that easy, Abanai, as they're just behind another couple of walls, but you did do the right thing there, and Forrest is there to be able to swing around and offer some support. Execration is getting open some of the holds above as they try and lock down the entire southern side of the map and get control of CC downwards, but they haven't done all of it yet, as they've got to steadily push towards it as Geo suffering more and more damage. 3 people around, can't quite decide who to shoot, and that was a very well executed close down, and there's another body as Grixer finds Mo in the meantime.
So a 3v5 situation, Obey looking very good to take this round right now as they've got that complete vertical control. Blind C4 does go out from Young, but is unable to find its mark so far. NVK is still pulsing out from just below the supply room here. But there's so much time on the board for Obey to try and bring this in and do the work necessary to bring it in, you know? And the drones are going to be going out into the site. Abanai, using his IQ scanner, is going to fell NVK. I'm bringing it to a 5v2. This is looking beautiful for Obey, as we've still got just over a minute left remaining on the clock. Do you remember the last time Obey tried to attack this? It was not this powerful for them. A multi-drone, however, will be found. This is looking very, very good for EG, for Obey, as they start to push in, but no! Forrest will fumble and takes down Execration, as Necrox will find out. Abanai tries to get a double here, brings out the super shorty, but no! Is denied it. He's going to trade out straight with Forrest. As Obey Alliance, I'm going to take round number 12, and they're going to send us to overtime.
Well, OT, we find ourselves in, and yet again, it's a great, great response there from Obey. It's a couple of moments, like the IQ getting scanned and the team kill, where things are still a little bit unsteady in this game, but it has been very, very back and forth between these guys. And the rounds where they're in control, it's never been generally a complete control. There's always been some back and forth in these rounds, which I think is good to see at the beginning of the series of 3, because one of the questions we wanted to see was who's got the deeper map pool. How far can these teams run? And it looks like if this keeps up, we're going to find out.
Border is a very kind of bread and butter map. Like, both of these teams should be very, very familiar with how Border is indeed played.
Like a beans on toast map.
Yeah, I mean, EG has a better record on border for sure, and this is a normal ban for OBE. But so far things are pretty even across the board. We've had 3 offense and 3 defense wins for each team. You can see that on the scoreboard. We've had some pretty high fraggers up on the board.
Yeah, they've been doing well, been doing work. Obviously, we've kind of complimented how things have fallen together, and EG have found a little bit more semblance of themselves in these defenses. Then, obviously, as we said, when their attacks weren't working, it was kind of obvious. On their defenses, they generally always seem to have a bit of an idea and a bit of cover. But at the same time, so have OBE. As I said, these teams, they're pretty well balanced against each other. And it's exciting to kind of see how these teams will start to develop, because obviously, you know, you think of all the work that both rosters have kind of put in to get to this point, the support staff behind them, and in this case with Execration playing with them and in front of them, and occasionally team killing them. And you kind of, it's exciting to see how these teams are going to start battling as time goes on when they are playing each other in a league, and they are kind of playing each other on more familiar ground consistently.
Talking about support staff, don't forget we do have the real Bugs, who is behind the scenes. Bugs doing a good job. He's also British as well. Well,
What do you mean, well,
Scottish. I'm pretty sure he's from Glasgow.
Still British.
Yeah, but you know what Scottish people are like.
Yeah, but it's still Great Britain. I know they're Scottish.
Let's move past this conversation. But yeah, he's doing the work behind the scenes as the analyst, but a great early pickup coming out from Abadai. How many opening frags is that for Abadai now?
That is his 6th.
Absolutely insane. Doing really well on that entry fragging opportunity. That is already the dock off the board of NVK, who's been a top fragger coming out from EG. Everyone is just stacked around Armory right now for EG. This room is going to start getting very small as far as shots to do the work from below.
Yeah, if they don't get a hold on that buck, this could be, well, a very small amount of floor as lava that they can actually left standing on. Mo has found his way around 2 offices and is going to try and hold down, with Necrox offering a bit of cover with those smokes. Young causing all the nightmares he has been able to so far with the Alder from the long range against 90, and then he'll swing around and put some pressure against the people going for the plant. But OBE, they're attacking this with the same kind of confidence we saw on their second attack here. They're droning ahead. They're finding the information before they start to put pressure. Necrox suffers a fair bit of damage, and Mo dances around a corner but can't quite find the body as he jiggle peeks away. In the meantime, frag grenades are being thrown, rolled, and wasted as they can't quite find the hang. And there is Young putting bodies down, and Necrox finds Forest on the vertical play as well.
This is looking very good so far for EG to hold on, but Execration finds his entry, but Gio will strike back, and Nitro will go out onto Locker Sandwich, but will not be able to score its hit. Execration very low HP, but he is in the site right now as Grixer moves to cut off the rotation. Execration really has to go for a plant right now, but Grixer is going to have to move around to support him if he wants to do so. Execration is actually going to start peeking this. He's got 3 flashbangs actually here to be able to do something with it, as smokes are actually going to go down from Grixer so far. Smokes are going to go down, and Execration should be able to start the plan. Oh, Grixer is going to win the fight against Young and picks up that freebie, but a 2-peek comes out. Execration picks up one, but can't pick up the other, and EG clinched the round in a 1v1 from Mo.
I mean, you got to give credit to Execration. He is doing some work, even though it's always hard, as we said, when a coach kind of steps in, especially when a roster has been so prevalent and so dominant recently in kind of recent showings. So it, you know, it's a bit of a pair of boots to fill. But he's been able to kind of put bodies down and keep consistently finding himself with the diffuser and trying to get the plant down. And I guess we'll see if he can find a way to swing it around. We're gonna hit armories again. Obviously, it's the point that you see the most. This is the 8th time we're seeing it this game, so it's all familiar armory.
Yeah, no, it is. It's definitely the strongest site on border. I don't think anyone can really debate that, especially with the bans coming in with the Thermite ban. It's going to make it much harder for you to kind of do the work. We're going to see an Armory Locker Zarkos, as you said. And we see the Valkyrie coming out once again from Abadai. And EG once again on match point here. And this is only our first map as well. And we've already almost gone to maximum overtime. And I feel like it's definitely trending that way.
Yeah. Like, I mean, as I said, we're obviously sitting on 7-6. This has been... We kind of looked at the back and forth that we had in the previous game between Rise and Luminosity, and this is a kind of different level of this, because this is them repeatedly stepping up against each other. As at the very beginning, obviously, it was a little bit sleepy from EG, and then they kind of pulled themselves in, and then Obey, they've kind of pulled themselves up, and this is a kind of match where it's step for step for step, and as I said, that's why I'm really curious to see how we hit it on the second map, and then potentially the third map, because that's your stamina tests, that's your pace tests.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I would love to see a Clubhouse come out from Obey here. I really like how Obey played Clubhouse, watching them play it against Parallax earlier in the CL season. Absolutely phenomenal stuff coming out from them. So we'll have a look at how EG want to take this. They are 1 round away from bringing in their map. Let's see if they can do it. Obey in a very good position to actually take this whole thing because Events has been successful for them in the past.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing about it is, you know, how you can kind of find yourself, because obviously, as we said, the second time they attacked Armory, it was a very good take, and then the third time they attacked it, they lost it, and the fourth time. So it's down to then EG. If assuming EG don't take this round, which is likely because the Armory hold has been pretty good on the side of Obey. They won it both times they were here. You know, it becomes their role to try and answer.
Brooks are going to be trying to do the work here on the triple wall. Has opened up a bit of a rotate for himself here as well, as he rotates all the way back onto Fountain. Looks like the shield's actually going to be rotated. This is an interesting strategy coming out from Execration. He's going to maybe pick up his shield and deploy it somewhere else, and he's maybe expecting an office take early on here. EG are running out of time though. They do have CC control already, however. They'll be checking out all of this and making sure there's nothing going on. Was there a Valkyrie camera there?
I guess. Unless IQ's just losing it.
I definitely heard a Valkyrie cam get
Yeah,
shot.
I did. It was the monitors. Call Out is going to try and hold that close, and with the Bandit try and trick off as much hard destruction as they can. And it's been successful the previous times we've been here. They've actually been able to find quite a few of those ex-Kairos, and now we're going to see if they can do the dance and keep it going. In the meantime, you can see the Mozzie working double time underneath to keep control of it, and Call Out just suffered a huge sway of flash bangs, and there goes the wall. Unfortunately, it does get cracked open, and Callout's going to pull back just one into the small box room and try and hold it from there instead. Forest is under a bit of pressure from beneath, as MVK is the only one that's really suffered any actual damage.
Another Valkyrie camera off the board and found, but EG starting to run out of time as we move into the final 45 seconds of the round. EG really need to get into the site and start to go for a plant. We've seen a very similar setup for their attack last time. Things didn't end too well for them, however. We do have Forest still below, of course, with that Nitro Cell available in his back pocket. Call still holding on to the drones. Smokes are going to start to go out as well to try and deny this plant going down. No AC control just yet for EG, and no window repel either. It looks like Forest is getting ready to try and deal with one, as the repel does start to come out from Mo. Does get very, very little power. However, jumps all the way in and gets taken down. That's a great frag from Forest coming out as he jumps out the window, takes the Claymore down, but immediately fragged off the board. Necrox and Young and NVK all find kills in their favor. It's all down to Abernai to try and push in, but no, gets shut down, and EG will take the map 8-6.
Well, they almost pushed us all the way to the wire, and it was EG's to take. Good fight from Obey, but obviously in the world of best of threes, a hard-fought victory is one where you're going to have to keep fighting, unfortunately, to find out who gets to step forward and find themselves as the final semi-finalists. We will see you after a quick break in Coastline.
predict the outcome, win the game. Get live coverage and schedules for your favorite tournaments. Analyze, predict, and vote to gain points. Compete with other esports fans and climb the leaderboards. Strafe, everything esports. Download now on iOS and Android.